What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks and things on how to move your gaming collection. I'm going to be moving house soon, like in a couple of days actually, and this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something like this previously when I moved, but I just ran out of time. So what I'm going to show you is just some things I've learnt from moving around lots and moving my gaming collection and yeah, stuff like that. So some of the basic things that you'd probably need, just like bubble wrap and things and sticky tape and labels and stuff. But one important thing that I found that's really good to have is some of this, and this is just shrink wrap. You can use, it's known as hand shrink wrap, which means you don't have to heat it up to make it nice and sticky and stuff. You can if you want, but there's a little point, especially if you're just moving. If you're going to be storing stuff, it's probably a better idea to shrink it up with a heat gun or something, but just for today's purposes, it's not going to be much use. So another thing, just like scissors. Another good thing to have is one of these guys. It's a tape dispenser. It's much easier to use than just a roll of sticky tape and some scissors. Found that out the hard way. That way you can just like whack it on to the box like that and stick it on. Everyone knows what those things do. Bubble wrap, as I said, and yeah. So the first little tip, I guess, would be the sort of box you'd want to choose to put your stuff in. For consoles and things, if you've still got the original box, it's a good idea to throw it in there. If you don't, just get the small enough box that'll fit in. You don't want to put all the consoles into one big box, A, because it makes it way too heavy, and B, you don't want to damage them by having other ones on top or get it knocked around, and it's a lot easier to move smaller boxes than it is to move large ones, unless you're using like a removalist company or like a truck or something. But for most people, you just be using your car, so it's a lot easier to pack smaller boxes than it is to pack really big ones. But yeah, the only exception would be for disc-based games, and you can put them in smaller boxes if you want, but I found it's easier if you put them all into one big box so you don't lose anything. Because they're only single DVD cases and stuff, it's easier if they're all in one spot. You can just take, when you move in, you can just put the one box down, all your games are there, or two boxes, depending how many games you've got. I don't have a huge collection, but I have probably larger than most people who, I guess, aren't really collectors. They just buy games that they want to play, I guess, but yeah, sort of getting off topic now. What I'm going to do first is I'll just grab some standard Xbox games, because they're the easiest to wrap. These are just standard dual cases, well, not dual cases, DVD cases. Okay, so first thing you want to do is you want to get your shrink wrap, and you need a good flat clean surface to do this. It makes things much easier if you've got enough room. And you can buy this shrink wrap stuff from your local hardware store. It's about I paid about $20 for this roll. It's 40 centimeters by 400 meters. And in fact, I used this one last time I moved, which was 6 months ago now. So yeah, it lasts a long time. So when you roll it out, it doesn't really matter which way you roll it. I find it's easier if you roll it the opposite way. So then when you come back, you can pull it nice and tight over whatever it is you're wrapping up. So roll it out of the table. Make sure it sits nice and flat. And then, if you want, with these DVD cases, you can just wrap one at a time if you really want to. But there's a little point in that. So what I like to do is I like to grab just a fair stack. Like that many. As many that'll fit fairly easily. And I'm going to put them this way. Just put them sort of not dead center in the wrap, just sort of like at the front there, and then bring the front half up and just pull it over the top and make sure it's sitting nice and neat so it looks nice and won't fall over. And you pick it up like that, and if you do it properly and don't fuck it up, you will have a nicely wrapped stack of games. And this stuff isn't super thick. It's basically, it's very similar to just like the plastic sandwich wrap, except this stuff isn't food safe. It's a little bit thicker, so it won't tear as easy, but it still does tear easier than, say, bubble wrap would. So, usually once around again is fairly decent. It'll hold most stuff together. Oh, just killed the sticky tape. And excuse my hand, I hurt it the other day. So we got stitches in, and that was all fun and games. Not really. Had to wait in hospital for a couple hours. So you just, pack up the ends like that. If you get real desperate and you don't have any proper shrink wrap for moving and stuff, you can use sandwich wrap. You just have to use a lot more of it. Okay, so once you get that wrapped up, another good thing to do is just to get your tape. And if you've got a tape gun, it makes it much easier. And we're just going to tape over the loose ends. And that's done. It's not super neat, but it doesn't have to be. It's just to hold it together. If you want, you can do around the front like that. And just having sticky tape over this shrink wrap. Oh, I wrecked up the thing now. Oh no, I broke it. Just having the sticky tape over the shrink wrap really helps hold it together. Like, you wouldn't be able to rip that with your hands now, so yeah, that's pretty good. And when you're packing in the box, around each stack is a good idea. Just put a little bit of bubble wrap. You don't even have to tape it down. I've found that doesn't really do much. It just wastes bubble wrap and sticky tape. And yeah, so that's the games done. Now, for the actual consoles themselves and other different shaped things, so with my PS2 here, I've already got the original box for it, so I can just put it back into the box. Most consoles, the box they come in is actually the shipping box that they get sent out in to all the stores, so they're nice and durable. If you don't have the original box, you can just find a small box to fit it in if it's small enough. If you can't get any small enough boxes per console, you can probably put 3 or 4 in together and they should be fine, but it's always recommended to have them as single units. It makes them much easier to pack. So yeah, and with consoles, when you want to wrap them up, so I'll grab, what's one that I don't have a box for? Here we go. So I got the Mega Drive here, or Genesis, depending on where you are. And if you want, if your consoles are dusty and you don't clean them like me, if you've got some rubbing alcohol in a spray bottle, it's a good idea to just spray it and then wipe it down. If you don't, just a bit of paper towel and just wipe all the dust off them. So when you get them out, when you move in, they're nice and clean, ready to go. You don't have to clean everything as you put it all in. And yeah, nice and clean. So then, again, put it at the front. Over the front like that. You don't have to go all the way around. And then with smaller stuff like this, if you rolled out too much like I did, you can actually just roll it backwards like that. And this stuff sticks to itself pretty well. And then you just go over it again. If you sort of like just press it into yourself, like I just did there, I don't know if you could see that, but if you just sort of like press it towards yourself to hold it still, you can then like roll it over nice and tight. And I'm doing it at a really funny angle, so it's not as good as I'd normally wrap it, but it gets the job done. And then when you're ready, just grab your knife or scissors. Cutting it like that gets a pain because this stuff is so stretchy. I've never found a pair of scissors that'll cut it very nicely, so I just like hack at it. It doesn't matter. And then with your sides, tuck them in under like that. And then one more time. And there. That's all wrapped up. So now that won't get scratched or anything in a box, and then just put some tape over it. just with these tape guns, another tip is don't push down like that, because that sharp thing can scratch stuff and it's a pain in the butt. But yeah, so that's all wrapped up. And then what you can do again is just get your bubble wrap. If you're doing single boxes for each console, you can either use bubble wrap or packing peanuts. If you're going to be using packing peanuts, make sure you put some underneath. I always forget to, and then you realise, oh no, could have broken the bottom of it. But yeah, when you wrap it up like that, you just get small strips like this. You don't need a whole lot, because these most consoles and things, they're all just ABS plastic, and that's fairly strong. So like, just one time around like that would be sufficient to keep it sort of nice and safe and not get broken. So then just to wrap them, all I do is just go like that. Remember that this is just for moving. If I was selling this and posting it, I'd go heaps hardcore with it. And you probably should tape around the sides, but all the tape's there to do is just to hold the bubble wrap on so it doesn't slide off or anything when you pick it up. But because it's wrapped in this plastic wrap, it sticks to the bubble wrap fairly well, so you can move that around, even hold it up like that and it won't fall out. So yeah, the tape's just there to hold this bubble wrap around it. So that's the console's done now. With, say, cartridge-based games and stuff, I just use the same method I used on the DVD case-based games. So you just get a stack of them, wrap them up in shrink wrap. Make sure it's really tight with these because they do slide around. If they're just cart-only games like I've got here and you don't really care about the labels too much because they're already buggered, just stack them together. If they're anything special, then you probably wouldn't have them as cart-only, so you'd have a case for them or something, so that's not a worry. Okay, so what you want to do with your posters, I've just got two here, and all you want to do is just roll them up, keep them nice and tight, roll them up like so. Make sure you roll them up at least a bit even. And then all you want to do is grab the mailing tube and feed them in. And I messed it up and rolled it up wrong. Takes a bit of practice to get this right, but once you do, you should be fine. And all you have to do is slide it in. Ooh, yeah. And if you're like me and you mess it up, they will be stuck. If they get sort of stuck, you can just stick your hand in there and sort of twist it around a bit. Eventually get it in, but it should be fine. Alright guys, so I hope those few little handy hints and whatever will help you when moving your stuff. But yeah, there isn't too much to it. Just make sure nothing gets broken. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye! Hi guys, thanks for watching my video. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe, it really helps me out. Also, you can find me on Twitter and on my website. I'll put the links in the description. Thanks again, and I'll see you in my next video.